Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Sarasota. My name is Jaren Nelson, and I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the center. Thank you for dropping by to spend time with us today. In recognition of the one infinite presence that connects us all, I greet you with Namaste. Namaste is a Sanskrit word and means the divinity in me recognizes and honors the divinity in you. Each Sunday, we like to be reminded of our community's declaration. I invite you to join with me now in reading this declaration aloud. We are a spiritual center that honors all paths to God. Ours is a positive message inspiring our possibilities and offering spiritual tools for transforming our lives and helping to make the world a better place. Here, we can find peace of mind, belonging to a spiritual home, and a personal relationship with the God of our understanding. We are here to discover what we already know. And now, as we transition into our time of prayer and meditation, let us begin by taking a nice long inhale and then letting it all go with a long exhale. Perhaps letting the eyelids close. Allow the outer world to recede even more as you let the simple yet powerful words of the chant, "All is well," remind you of the inner state of peace that resides within you. Simply listen or feel free to sing along if you'd like.
All is well, I can rest, I am safe. All is well, all is well, I can rest, I am safe. All is well, 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 I can rest, I am safe. All is well, 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 I can rest, I am safe, all is well.
As we direct our attention inward to that inner calm that is always available, we recognize and greet this inner stillness, our inner I am presence. We are reminded that while it may feel as though there is so much uncertainty in our life right now, with so much that seems unresolved, with no clear resolution in sight, yet this inner calm always stands strong and unshakable, for it is the eternal I am. It sees in all directions, it sees through all time and space. It knows that everything is working out for the individual and collective good. So knowing this truth and knowing this truth resides within us and is us, we are willing to move beyond having a faith in God, and we are accepting that the faith of God is ours right now. We are seeing and listening with the eyes and ears of God. We are tapping into the expansive and eternal truth of all situations by connecting with the heart of God and the mind of God. We are thinking, walking, talking, creating, steeped in the faith of God, steeped in the knowing that all is well and working in our favor no matter what. We accept that there are no exceptions to this fact. Therefore, no matter what may come, we stand strong and immovable with our roots growing ever deeper in the faith of God. We let go of all belief in the idea that appearances in the world of form could ever override the ever-present good of God that is always waiting to be recognized and accepted. Instead, we are actively choosing to embody the faith of God in all of life's circumstances. We gratefully accept our unity with all and share the benefits of our faith-filled living with everyone, knowing that the whole world benefits. We now gratefully accept and celebrate a more expansive knowing and embodiment of faith. We know this truth to unfold, and so it is. Today we are honored to have our spiritual leader, the Reverend Karen Wolfson, bringing today's message to us. The title of her message is Radical Faith for These Crazy Times. I imagine that each one of you listening right now has already moved to the front edge of your seat in great anticipation of the much needed wisdom that Reverend Karen will be sharing with us today. And don't worry, we'll get there. But for now, I invite you to sit back and relax for just a bit, because first, we will be enjoying the amazing vocals of today's guest soloist, Fawny Frost. Accompanied by the talented Bob Teesdale, Fawny will be increasing our joy as she sings the Janice Stanfield song, Increase My Faith. Please join with me in giving Fawny and Bob a warm virtual welcome. Take it away, Fawny and Bob.
Increase my faith in the things I cannot see, the things I cannot prove, yet I choose to believe. When my confidence fades, it's these words I pray. I increase my faith, increase my faith. Open my mind to the things I need to know, thoughts I need to hold, and the ones I can let go. Help me be wise, see the world through others' eyes, open my mind. Peaceful and free, that's how I want to be. The gift I want to give to the people I meet. Let each of us sing our own harmony, high, peaceful and free, peaceful and free. Increase my faith in the things I cannot see, the things I cannot prove, yet I choose to believe. When my confidence fades, it's these words I pray. I increase my faith, increase my faith, increase my faith.
Thank you, Bob. What a great musical affirmation by Janice Stanfield. Listen to some of these words again. Increase my faith in the things I cannot see and the things I cannot prove. These words I pray. Increase my faith. Hi, everyone. Do you ever have that feeling? Wobbly faith? Increase my faith, please. Maybe a lot wobbly? Well, me too. It's kind of like the man who had a great fear of flying. So he had to take a business trip finally from coast to coast, and he had to do it on the plane. And he boarded the plane very hesitantly, was very nervous, found his way to his seat, kind of white-knuckled it through the whole flight. When he got to the other end, then one of his colleagues met him, and knowing that the man had a fear of flying, he said, "Well, good for you. How did the flight go?" And the man replied, "Well, after I got into it, I relaxed more and more. But I'll have you know, I never put my full weight down." Yeah, wobbly faith. Let's face it. During these crazy times, there is so much that is unknown, that is out of our control, that is unpredictable, so much pain and suffering, conditions that we could never have imagined. And it seems like the only thing that we can rely on ultimately has to be something besides conditions, something other than conditions. And that something is our faith. Because faith is not contingent on conditions. Even the Bible says, faith is the evidence of things not seen. So it occurred to me that because these days especially so many things are being labeled as radical, why not radical faith? So that's my title today. Radical faith for these crazy times. A little bit more about that. But first, let's check in. I'm so glad to have you with us again today, and I feel you all week long. I know you're there, and I love hearing from you. I love your emails. I love your text messages. And of course, if you're watching us on Facebook Live today, we always appreciate hearing from where you're from and getting a little comment from you. When I think of you during the week, as I tell you often, I see you as vibrantly healthy and abundantly supported in every way. And those of you who are financially supporting us, I can't thank you enough. You know, you just lift our spirits and you make it possible. Make it possible for us to continue sharing our message, our love, our connection. Thank you. You are on the team, and you do make it possible. So thank you all for joining with us today. So you might have some questions about this. Radical faith for these crazy times. Why talk about faith right now? Well, I have noticed that because of the tumultuous conditions that we've been going through in the past few months, our minds have gone into overdrive in desperately trying to find answers, to find something we can count on, to get a grip, to somehow find a foundation we can stand on. And all these things that we keep trying to establish keep eluding us. I mean, these are some pretty crazy conditions that we're facing. So what if we decided to shift our mental efforts to strengthening and deepening the one thing that we can count on, our faith? William Sloane Coffin, the theologian, called it reckless faith. He wrote, "I love the recklessness of faith. First you leap, and then you grow wings." First you leap, and then you grow wings. That's reckless, that's radical. So then the next question might be, well, have faith in what or whom? I was reading something by Dr. Ernest Holmes, the architect of our philosophy, the other day, and it just nailed it. It spoke of this so beautifully. Now I'm going to share it with you. It's a little bit long, but stay with me. You're going to love it. He wrote, "I am secure in the everlasting arms of God." And he took this from the Bible passage, which said, "God is your refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms." So he goes on to say, the everlasting arms suggest divine protection, complete certainty, and the assurance that all is well. Who wouldn't want that? He goes on to say, therefore, when I say that I am secure in the everlasting arms of God, I am realizing that my spirit, being one with its God source, must be and is as secure as God. And he continues saying, it is this inward sense of my union with the whole that gives me the joy of knowing there is nothing to fear. A great sense of calm and peace flows through my whole being in confidence and in light. And he says, realizing that there is no separation between the spirit within me and the spirit that God is, I am secure in the everlasting arms of God. And he concludes by saying, I feel confidence, safety, and security in that presence that evermore wraps itself around me and flows through me. Faith in the everlasting arms. That's a beautiful image and a beautiful way of declaring what he has faith in. You know, we're not telling you what to believe at all. We're just inviting you to have faith and to find your way, because it's available to all of us. Now, you can call this that Holmes was talking about, you can call it God, of course, as he called it, the everlasting arms of God. You can call it by any name. It's about faith in the infinitely life-affirming essence and energy of the one creative power and love of the universe and beyond. Call it higher power, call it spirit, call it nature. Dr. Ernest Holmes articulated his faith this way. He said, I refuse to worry about anything. I have complete confidence that the God who is always with me is willing and able to guide me in everything I do, to handle my affairs, to lead me into the pathway of peace and happiness. Beautiful. So I did an experiment I want to share with you. I took a reading from an inspirational daily little booklet called Daily Word. And it's very much about faith. But then I tweaked it. But first of all, here's how the reading went. At times I may find myself clutching a worried thought as tightly as I might grip a hammer. My whole body may tense as my mind strikes away at an issue, searching for the answer to a problem or a predicament. But there is an easier way, this inspirational reading went on to say. I relax my grip, and I calm my thoughts, and I breathe deeply, and I release my concerns. I do not need to try to work things out by myself. Instead, I open to the flow of God's love and guidance. I access the infinite wisdom, perfect life, and strength within me. And even when I think there's no way, God reveals a way. Relaxed and calm, I trust in God, and I move forward with confidence. Now that's a real faith builder, isn't it? Well, here's my experiment. I rewrote this a little bit, including the words that sometimes are going along in the back of our mind while we're reading something inspirational, or, might even be going on in the back of your mind while you're listening to me talk about radical faith. So here's my version. At times I may find myself clutching a worried thought as tightly as I might grip a hammer. My whole body may tense as my mind strikes away at an issue, searching for the answer to the problem or a predicament. I doubt there is any easier way, so I tighten my grip and I clutch at my worries. I hold my breath and cling to my concerns. I have to work things out by myself, separate from God, if there even is a God, let alone one that cares about my problems. I don't see any way out. So tense and uneasy, I have no clue about any divine guidance. So I stay stuck in my worry and my fear. You see the difference? Sound familiar? Contrasting these two readings, which would you prefer? Well, of course. The first one was so encouraging. The second was a downer. Well, the difference between the two is one word. Faith. Faith. And faith is important. Take these words out of the mouths of babes from a little boy who said, if you don't have faith in God, you will be very lonely because your parents can't go everywhere with you, like to camp and stuff, but God can. And it's good to know God's around you when you are scared, in the dark, or when you get thrown into real deep water by the big kids. Faith is important. Ernest Holmes again summed it up with these words. He said, I am guided by the intelligence and inspired by the same imagination which scatters the moonbeams across the waves and holds the forces of nature in its grasp. What to have faith in? Take your pick. God is there by any name, and life is there to support you and support me. But that's a pretty radical idea. That's radical faith. Now, another question you may have. How can I take that leap of radical faith? That leap of reckless faith, as Coffin had said. I have 3 suggestions for you. And I know you have several of your own, and more may come to your mind as we're talking today. How do I take that leap of radical faith? Well, the first suggestion, I have 3 suggestions. The first is think independently of conditions. Now that's a leap, and that's kind of radical. We humans have the power to think independently of conditions, and yet conditions are so seductive that we often lose sight of that power that we have to think independent of them. So how do we do that? How do we think independently of conditions, or how can we? Well, here's an example. When you see the news reports filled with hate, fear, dire projections, or when you're facing a frightening, overwhelming challenge in your personal life, take a moment, take a breath, and then flip a toggle switch in your mind. Flip a toggle switch. By that I mean turn your attention, almost doing a 180. Turn your attention to that which is beyond and behind and greater than conditions. Your faith in the things that are unseen, in the invisible. You can do that by maybe accessing the words that I just read you by Ernest Holmes, or something inspirational that you have access to that often helps flip that switch. Something that reminds you that the condition is merely a condition. We're not denying the condition, we're just denying the power of the condition. Why? Because there's infinite power. That's something that we can't see, but we know is there. The infinite power behind that condition is always creating something new and perfect. Something new and perfect. Let me paraphrase something by Christian Larson, who was an early New Thought teacher, speaker, writer. He wrote, "In life we encounter many obstacles, and we almost invariably believe that every seeming obstacle is actually an obstacle." An obstacle is an obstacle, or so we believe, he says. But he goes on to say, faith does not look upon obstacles as obstacles or difficulties as difficulties. Faith would term them great occasions, because it is the difficult things that enable us to bring into action, and listen to this, the greater power that is within us. The greater power that is within us. That toggle switch you flip so that you remember an obstacle isn't always an obstacle. Now, the second suggestion I have of taking that leap of radical faith is take this radical idea that your impossibilities are God's possibilities. My impossibilities are God's possibilities. You might be saying about a situation, it's impossible that anything good can come into it, come from it. Well, let me remind you of the words from Florence Scovel Shinn. I stand immovable, giving thanks that my seemingly impossible good will come to pass. For I know with God, it is an easy accomplishment. My impossibilities are God's possibilities. With God, it's an easy thing. Oh, but you might say, I don't see the evidence. Well, you know, lack of evidence is not evidence of lack. Now, the number 3 suggestion for taking a leap of radical faith. And this is actually not a leap. It's more like keeping on, keeping on, keeping on, keeping on, which also can seem kind of radical. Some people may say, hey, you got to be doing something pretty dramatic. No, sometimes this faith is exercised by keeping on, by taking one step after another. You've heard me talk about trudge, 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 miracle. That's what it is. Sometimes faith follows your feet. Faith follows your feet. I love what someone said. Faith is simply the refusal to panic. Well, there's that. Faith is the refusal to panic. Now, what about doubts? I know that on more than one occasion, we will likely find we have doubts, we have questions, we may even have a crisis of faith. I've had that many times, and I still have times when I question and I have doubts. You know, maybe we've prayed for something and it's just not coming through, or maybe we don't like the way it's coming through. We don't like the answer that we're getting, like, for example, the man who climbed up very high in a very, very tall tree, and then he slipped and he was falling and scared, and he managed to grab finally a tiny branch. He was hanging on for dear life, and he looked up and he prayed, God, help me out here. And he heard a booming voice come back, let go. And after a moment, the man shouted up and it said, is there anyone else up there? Doubts. But the thing is, doubts can actually be the stuff of greater faith. So don't be afraid of your doubts. When doubting, look straight at them. Say them out loud. Journal about them. Go toe to toe with God. God can handle it. Really, I've done this many times. Or sometimes when you're caught in that cycle of doubts and questions and can't seem to pull out of it, take a break. Just let life carry you. Life will carry you, and you will come back and you will find that things will clear. As William Sloane Coffin also wrote, and he was talking about thinking, which, you know, when we're thinking, and we're all intelligent, good, critical thinkers, that can often lead to doubts. But he said this, he said, faith is no substitute for thinking. Rather, it is what makes good thinking possible. It has a limbering effect on the mind by taking us beyond the familiar, and it ends up giving us much more to think about. Yeah. So think about it. Have your doubts, and always realize that there is more than what you're going through at the moment. As someone once said, doubt your doubts. And reminder, we have support for you. One of the best supports is our spiritual practitioners. We have 3 marvelous spiritual practitioners and a 4th soon to be joining us. And that's what they're trained to do. They're trained to guide you, to support you, to affirm for you and with you and about you your greater truth in the midst of doubts and overwhelming challenges. So take advantage of them. Also, of course, the midweek spiritual living circle is a marvelous way to boost your faith. Ask questions and explore things that you may have doubts about to reinforce your faith. We'll have classes starting soon, and those are certainly a great tool for deepening your faith. And finally, we have new video prayers now being posted by one of our spiritual practitioners, Jaron Nelson. They're being posted on Facebook. Listen to those, watch those. You know, the biblical passage that says where 2 or more are gathered, I am there in the midst, that's referring to this reaching out and engaging the support, the assistance, the witnessing of someone else as we go through our journey of radical faith and sometimes a couple of doubts. So that's pretty much it. Radical faith for these crazy times. First you leap, and then you grow wings, and then watch what happens. And if you feel like it, drop me a line and let me know what happens. And now to send us off into our week, Bob is going to sing another great and very rousing song by Janice Stanfield. You're going to love it. Brave Faith. Enjoy, and I'll see you soon.
Brave faith, brave faith. Let us love, let us live each day with brave out there, complicated world to share, working with no guarantees. I believe that what we need is brave faith, brave faith. Let us love, let us live each day with brave faith, brave faith. Sometimes we are slow to trust, wisdom hidden deep in us, fear of failure keep us down. What we all could use right now is brave faith, brave faith. Let us love, let us live each day with brave faith, brave faith. Someday we can all look back at turning points along our path. That's when we will point with pride to every good choice, guided by brave faith, brave faith. Let us love, let us live each day with brave faith, brave faith. Let us love, let us live each day with brave faith, brave faith. Let us love, let us live each day with brave faith, brave faith, brave faith.
Oh my goodness, I don't know about all of you, but Reverend Karen's truth-filled and anchoring message, accompanied by Fawny and Bob's musical faith boost, has certainly convinced me that living by faith is where it's all at for me. I trust that it's done the same for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Reverend Karen, Fawny, and Bob. We want you to know that the Center for Spiritual Living Sarasota is here to support you in knowing the power and presence of your spiritual essence. We are here to offer prayer support, inspiration, encouragement, and opportunities for virtual community and connection. We appreciate your financial gifts so that we can continue to offer support to you. There are 3 simple ways to share your gift. On your screen, you'll see our website where you can select the donate button, which allows you to contribute via PayPal or your own credit card. You can mail a check to our address or set up automatic contributions through your own online banking. And now I invite you to take your virtual gift in your hand, place it over your heart, blessing it as you affirm with me, I give thanks that I may share of my good, my love, and my support. My gift goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper, and the divine flow returns it to me, multiplied abundantly. Thank you so much. On our website at www.cslsarasota.com, we want to draw your attention to the green prayer request button, which allows you to send us a prayer request. Our 3 licensed spiritual practitioners, Kathleen Frankert, Jim Grove, and me, stand by ready and willing to know and affirm spiritual truth with and for you, no matter the situation. Here on our website, you can also sign up for our weekly email newsletter or click on our Facebook link to see posts about upcoming events. In community news, I am now offering a weekly video where I offer a reading, an affirmation, and a prayer. It's another way to spiritually nurture and support yourself, and each video is only several minutes long. The link for these videos will be available on our Facebook page, YouTube channel, the center website, and in your weekly e-newsletter. Also, feel free to submit desired prayer topic suggestions to my email. Also, continuing on Wednesday nights from 7 to 8 p.m., we have our spiritual living circles that take place on Zoom. This time and community is open to all, and discussion focuses on an article from the current Science of Mind magazine. These circles are inspiring, informal, free, and we usually manage to fit in some laughs as well. Attend whenever you would like to participate and receive that mid-week lift and realignment. Email the facilitator, licensed spiritual practitioner Jim Grove, to receive the Zoom link and any other pertinent information. Now, as we conclude this sacred time together, let us move forward into our day and the week ahead, knowing that we go forward in peace, love, joy, and in faith. I now invite you to join in singing our closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. Thank you for being with us, and have a marvelous week, everyone.
On earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God our Creator. We are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my song.